So our lecture tonight is Surah Fatiha, inshallah, starting of the explanation of the Quran for this Ramadan, inshallah. So first we need to know what are the greatness of Surah Fatiha, the Fadail. Surah Fatiha is the most important surah in the Quran. Most important surah in the Quran. Why is most important? That Allah is commanding us to read it, recited it. We are commanded by Allah and His Messenger to recite Surah Fatiha continuously. For example, just now we finished Taraweeh. How many rakat we pray Taraweeh? 20. So 20 times Surah Fatiha we read. In 3 witr, 3 times Surah Fatiha we read. 4 rakat of Isha, 4 times Surah Fatiha. 3 rakat of Maghrib, 3 times Surah Fatiha. 4 rakat of Asr, 4 times Surah Fatiha. 4 rakat of Zohar, 4 times Surah Fatiha. 2 rakat of Fajr and 2 rakat before Fajr, 4 times of Surah Fatiha. Every day we continuously reading because it is the guidelines. Surah Fatiha is the guideline for our life and it's complete way of life therein for us. And Surah Fatiha, the Prophet Muhammad called it Surah Fatiha. So Prophet Muhammad said, name of one of the name of Surah Al-Fatiha is Surah Fatiha. One of the name of Surah Fatiha mentioned in the Quran, Ummul Kitab. What is the meaning? Ummul Kitab. What is the meaning of Ummul Kitab? Mother of the book. The Quran, the mother of the book of the Quran is Surah Fatiha. Also, the Prophet Muhammad called Surah Fatiha Surah Shifa. What is it? Surah Shifa. What's the meaning Shifa? Cure. That it is cure for all disease. Anything, any problem you have, Surah Fatiha you read, Allah will give you cure for that. Any sickness. Any kind of sickness, the Surah Fatiha is the best cure. And Surah Fatiha has different names. Meaning of Surah Fatiha itself is opening. The opening chapter. The Surah Fatiha means opening chapter. And Allah called also one of the name in the Quran, Sab'am minal Masani. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَاكَ سَبْعًا مِنَ الْمَثَانِي. Then we are given you, Allah is saying to Prophet that Allah has given him Sab'am minal Masani wal Quran al-Azim. Sab'am minal Masani means the 7 repeatedly verses, which is continuously repeating. So this is 7 verses. How many ayat or verses in the Surah Fatiha? 7. Okay. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. First verse, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim, Ghayril maghdubi alayhim, Waladdallin. Ameen. So Waladdallin, that's 7th verse. And Ameen is additional, which is to say when you are making dua, you have to say that for accomplishment. Now Ameen word is it's for dua, which we say after finish of Surah Fatiha, and not just after Surah Fatiha. After every dua we say Ameen. Now before we start the Surah Fatiha or any Quran, there is a command of Allah which we must fulfill. What is Hussein, the command of Allah before you read the Quran? There is a command of Allah to fulfill. You cannot read the Quran without that command to fulfill. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Even before Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, there is a command of Allah. And A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. You cannot read the Quran without A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Because Allah said in the Quran, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. So when you are reading the Quran, فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ, then seek the refuge of Allah from shaitan accursed. So you cannot start Surah Fatiha or any part of the surah without A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. You must start the reading of the Quran with A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Why Allah wants us to say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim before starting the Quran? Why? Shaitan won't disturb you and the shaitan won't misguide you. Because sometimes some people, they are very arrogant and they try to get the wrong meaning and they try to deviate themselves and deviate other people. They misguide themselves and they misguide other people. So when you start with the seek refuge of Allah, protection of Allah from shaitan accursed, then Allah will protect you and Allah will guide you with the Quran. So that's very important for us to seek refuge of Allah before reading of Surah Fatiha or any surah of the Quran or any part of the Quran. So say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge with Allah from shaitan accursed. And you try to understand before we go to Surah Fatiha. A'udhu, I seek refuge. Billahi, with Allah. Mean from. Ash-shaitan, the name of the shaitan. Given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What was his name before the shaitan? What was his name in the Quran? Iblis. And Allah called him shaitan. What is the meaning shaitan? Shaitan. Shaitan meaning is shait. Shait means somebody is burning with fire. There is a fire inside him. He's burning with the fire. Shaitan is the one who is burning with the fire. The shait is a verb that somebody is a flame inside. Too much burning inside. Why Allah give him the name shaitan? Because he is jealous with Adam. That's why Adam is superior than him. Why Allah is making him Khalifa. So he becomes jealous to Adam, to the Prophet Adam, and he become arrogant and he refused the command of Allah. And he become disbeliever. So he is full of shait. Shaitan is full of shait. If you say Rahman, Allah is full of mercy, full of love and mercy. Rahman is full of love and mercy. Now Bismillah Rahman Rahim, 4 words again. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. It's actually 5, but in Bismillah Rahman Rahim, 4. La ilaha illallah, 4. La ilaha illa Allah. Bismillah Rahman Rahim, 4 words. Bismi, Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. But the 3 words are the names of Allah. Allah, the name of Allah. Ar-Rahman, the name of Allah. Ar-Rahim, the name of Allah. You can call somebody, you can say Usman is Rahim. Or you can just call Rahim, Rahim only. Because Rahim is meaning merciful. But when you say Ar-Rahim, it's only for Allah. Because it means the most merciful, or the ultimately merciful, or infinitely merciful. Okay? If you call somebody Razzaq, who is the meaning provider. But Al-Razzaq is all provider, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can call someone Kareem. Kareem is meaning is, what's the meaning Kareem? Generous. You can call he is generous, he is Kareem. But Al-Kareem is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because he is origin for all mercy. He is origin of all the generosity. He is origin for all of the kindness. He is origin of all of the love. Because one of the name of Allah is Al-Wadud. Means he is full of love and all loves come from him. Even the animals, they love their children. Where they get the love? From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the love we have in our hearts, it's all come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he is Al-Wadud. So his name is always with Al to make it superlative, to make it most superior, which cannot be used for a human being. And some of the names of Allah is Al-Mutakabbir. We cannot be called ourselves Mutakabbir only also, because Mutakabbir means arrogant, prideful, because only Allah can be prideful, we cannot be prideful. So our word for us is to be opposite, humble, not too arrogant but too humble. Now Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Bismi Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim means in the name of Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. That you are starting the Quran in the name of Allah, who is the Ar-Rahman, that who is full of mercy, full of love and mercy. All the love and mercy comes from him. And Ar-Rahim, that he is the most merciful. He is the most merciful. Bismi is a combination of 2 words, Ba and Ism. Ba is with or in, or by can be. Bismi is the other combination of the Ba is Ism. And Ism meaning is name. In Arabic, the meaning of Ism is name. Now, Ba Ism means in the name of. Ba Ism, in the name of Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Allah who is full of mercy and who is the merciful, who is the most merciful. All the mercy comes from him, all the love comes from him, and he is the most loving and most merciful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next verse of the Surah Fatiha is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises are for Allah, Lord of the worlds. All praises for Allah means if you see a human being good looking, Alhamdulillah. If you see a tree good looking, Alhamdulillah, because Allah created it. Human, Allah created it. You see the sky beautiful, you say Alhamdulillah, because Allah created this. And then if you see any creation which is indirectly creation of Allah, like example, Allah give you intelligent, Allah made you intelligent, then you make a robot, you make an airplane, you make a car, a beautiful car. then this is also praise of Allah. Why? Because the human being is created by Allah, the intelligence given to that human being given by Allah, and the power to make this car is given by Allah. So it's still the praise for Allah. Everything we can see in the earth, on the sky, in the heavens is all actually directly or indirectly creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Rabbil Alameen, the Rabb is the sustainer, cherisher, the one who take care of us, who protect us, who give us everything, who grow us from the small to big, from nothing to something. So Allah is the Lord, is a Rabb. If you call Rabbi, my Lord. If you call Rabbana, our Lord. So Allah is the Rabb of everyone. He's the Rabb of Izzah also. The honor, we get honor is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before you have a little honor, then Allah increase it. And if somebody Allah make dishonor, then Allah can dishonor them. So honor, Lord is Allah. Our human beings, all Lord is Allah. The animal, the Lord is Allah. And Allah is saying Rabbil Alameen. It is the Lord of all the worlds. What is the meaning of the worlds? The human world, animal world, ocean world, jinn world, or angels world, or the heavens world. All kind of kingdom is the Lord. Animal kingdom, ocean kingdom, human kingdom. Whatever kingdom you talk about, He is the Lord of everyone. He grow them all up. He sustain them all. He cherish them all, and He protect them all. Our earth can be demolished in 1 second, less than a second. If Allah can bring the sun nearer, then we all will burn. And if Allah will make farther the sun, we all will be freezed. So He is protecting us. He is preserving us. He is cherishing us. He is sustaining us. He is feeding us. He is growing us. So He is our Lord. And He is the Lord of all the worlds. And then repeat again Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim in the Surah Fatiha. Then the next is Malik Yawmiddin, that He is the owner of the Day of Judgment. So we worry about it. Even if we are not returning a 1 peso to someone, then we have to answer that on the Day of Judgment. We have to be accountable. We have to be pay our debts. We have to be very transparent, because we are afraid that we have to answer Allah on the Day of Judgment. We don't like to do any sin, because we have to answer to the Lord of the Day of Judgment, the Judge of the Day of Judgment, the honor of the Day of Judgment. So once we say Malik Yawmiddin, that Allah is the honor of the Day of Judgment, then we worry about it, because we have to be in front of Him to answer everything. And how long that day will be? The Day of Judgment, the Yawmul Qiyamah, the Yawmuddin will be like 50,000 years. 50,000 years of our counting. So our life is 50, 60, 70. But when we are alive again on the Day of Judgment, the first day, the Day of Judgment will be 50,000 years. And people cannot allow to sit down. They have no shade except Allah give the shade. And they have no water except Allah give the water. And they will have no food except Allah give the food on the Day of Judgment. Something to worry about it. Not to worry about this world, but worry about the Day of Judgment. What will happen to us if you have no shade on that day? And we are under the sun heat. And we are not allowed to sit down, but waiting for the judgment for 50,000 years. And you have no shade, and we are sweating out. And we are burning in the heat of the sun. We will be on this earth, and Allah will judge us. Billions of people will be in front of Allah for the judgment on the Day of Judgment. And Allah will judge one by one. And those people who fail, they have all sins in their life, and they have no enough good deeds, they will go to hellfire. Those who die as a disbeliever, not believing in one God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those who are committing shirk, they will never go out from the hellfire. They will be thrown in the fire forever. But those who believe in one God, but their life is full of sins, they might go to hellfire even for millions of years. But they still have a hope to go out from the hellfire. So we want to dedicated ourselves for Allah. We don't want to do sins, and we don't want to make Allah to angry with us, and we want to follow His commandments. So we will be not disgraced on the Day of Judgment. We will not be humiliated. Rather, Allah will bless us. He will give us a place to sit, the couches, the thrones, and He will give us a shade, and He will make us pass on the Day of Judgment. He will give us a report card on our right hand, and then He will tell us, go to my paradise. Enjoy there. So that's what we are looking for. So Malik Yawmiddin. So we worry about that, the Day of Judgment. You have to answer everything. I have to answer about my prayer, about my fasting, about my charities, about my zakat, about my hajj, and about my speaking of the truth and not to lie, and honor my promise and not to break my promises, and not to cheat people but be honest, be kind and generous. So next is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Now Allah is saying, but He is saying for us that we have to say this. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. To you alone we worship, to you alone we are slave all of our life, and to you alone we are supplicating. So we worship Allah like the Christian, they worship Jesus Christ, but Jesus Christ is just a human being like us, come from Middle East, from Palestine. The people worship Buddha, Buddha is Indian. The people worship Ram and Krishna, they are just a human being. The people worship cows and monkeys, they are just animals. But we say, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. To you alone we worship, and to you alone we are slave. We are not slave of our own selves, that we like to follow what we like only. We are not the slave of a government. We are not the slave of a system. We are not the slave of the people. We are not the slave of money. Because the people who are the most slave people they are in the world today, they are the slave of the money, worshipper of the money. The Prophet ﷺ said, that did you see Abdul Dinar, the slave of the gold coin, Abdul Dirham, the slave of the silver coin. So what is today now? Abdul Dollar, the slave of the dollar. Abdul Piso, the slave of the piso. Abdul Rupees, slave of the rupees, or slave of the money. Abdul Fulus, slave of the money. So we worship Allah and we are His slave. People are worshipping money today. The doctor, they don't like to treat patient, but if he has no money. The lawyer, he can save the criminals because of the money. He don't mind it. Even he's a killer, but he will save him because he will give him the money. So every department is corruption now. People are worshipping money. They can do all the evil for money. So money becomes the God now. So we are testifying to Allah, Iyyaka na'budu. To you alone we worship, to you alone we are slave. We want to do everything in our life for your sake, to your happiness. And no evil we doesn't want to do, but all the good we want to do for your sake. وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, and you alone we are supplicating. Like the people, the Christians, they are worshipping, calling Jesus to help. But Jesus is already not here in this world. Even though if He is here, He can listen only one time, one person, but Allah can listen millions of people one time. Jesus needs to know the language of your language. And He is not powerful, He is not divine, He is just the creation of Allah. So He is just limited human being. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unlimited, infinite God, who can listen all people, who can listen in all languages, and who can fulfill all what the people need. Even people are worshipping false gods, but Allah is the one giving them the sustenance and everything. So you alone we invoke for help. Ihdina Surat al-Mustaqim, guide us to the straight way, which is to worship Allah and obedience to Allah and follow the messengers. Ihdina Surat al-Mustaqim, Surat al-Ladina anamta alayhim, the way of those upon whom you rewarded, you blessed upon them. Ghayril maghdubi, nor of those who earned your anger, wala dallin, and not of the misguided. And we don't like that to the way of those who are misguided. We don't want the way of those who were earned your anger, and we don't want the way of those who were misguided. Rather, we want the way of those anamta alayhim, upon them you blessed. So inshallah tomorrow will be continued for Tarawih, then same lecture. Ameen, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen. Allah